Greetings, everybody. This is Patricia Cori coming to you live with a very short, and I really promise, very short moment of Zen. And my message today is this. I am reminded of a wonderful parable of Buddha, where a couple of his disciples were sitting under the Bodhi tree with him, and they asked him to speak to them about God and the meaning of God. And he reflected, as the parable goes, he reflected. And he said, God, I do not know what God is, so I cannot speak of it. But I know suffering. If you'd like to know about suffering, I can speak about that. Oh, the dog convention. Hey, girls! I'm back. Leave it to the dogs to interrupt a prophetic thought moment. My message about this was this. If you're going to speak about something, and I'm inviting people to dialogue. Okay, I seriously have to stop the dogs. Girls, there must be a cat nearby. If you're going to speak about something and I'm inviting people to have that dialogue, what happened? What happened to our ability to dialogue, really dialogue? The magnificence of the human capacity, the intellect to discuss issues, matters that face humanity. The Greeks, the Romans, countless civilizations debated in the great halls of wisdom, the Egyptians. And lately, it seems we've lost this wonderful capacity to debate, argue and debate, but debate with the idea that we're looking to explore the human condition. And this is what I put a post up on Facebook about getting back to the purity of that effort and to be able to talk without attacking, to talk without accusing, without denigrating the other. And I tell you folks, you know, if you're going to bring an argument to the table, a conversation to the table, have some experience of it. It's like right now, the conversation of the moment is the immigration problem at the southern border in the United States. And we've got, you know, all this argumentation debate, not even argumentation debate. It's just name calling, finger pointing, hating everybody, hating the president, hating the other, hating anything to do with it. And the bottom line is, do you have any experience of this? I mean, can someone bring to the table a conversation about what this means? Because, you know, I'm in Europe. I've seen the decimation of cities by immigration that has no port of entry. You let them in, there's no place to put these people. They're thrown onto the streets. They're living in tenements that weren't there before, because the complexity of these issues is more than just, you know, it's our obligation to blah, 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 blah. It's tolerance, blah, 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 blah. I'm just taking this one issue as an example. It's like, can we bring to the table of discussion what this means for a civilization, a society? What happens when you start imploding into an already dysfunctional society? Take Italy. Italy's got, I don't care what they report, they've got at least 25% disoccupation in Italy. We won't even talk about southern Italy. We won't talk about the demographic of just the young people. Massive unemployment, massive problems on many levels, crashing economy, yada, yada. But just keep bringing in these so-called asylum seekers who it's understandable if they get violent. There's no work. They're coming in with expectations of what's going to be given to them, and it's not there. And so I saw a video recently of a young man who had come in, because Italy is the port. He'd come in to Italy and found his way to England, and was very happy to report on the video that in England he was being given $50 a week, and he was enrolled in the university until they found out that actually they checked his fingerprints or something, and deported him back to Italy because that was his port of entry. Well, that's ridiculous. Italy is the port of entry for 90% of the immigrants in Europe. So what we're basically saying is everybody goes back to Italy. So, okay, great. What is Italy supposed to do with these millions and millions of unemployed, unskilled people? Answer, they're on the streets, they're sleeping on the streets. And this same guy in the video said, if they're going to deport me to Italy, I'd rather be deported back to Afghanistan. Whew. So this little example on a very heated subject, which exasperates me because we take such superficial opinions and positions on such complex issues like illegal immigration. This is just an example of what I'm talking about when I say we need to have experience to bring to the table of dialogue and discussion. We seem to feel like there's nothing left but just to fight it out and to hate everybody else's position and to expound with platitudes about words that have often been put in people's mouth about it's our obligation, it's our moral obligation, and on the other side, these are hateful, horrible people that are going to come in and destroy the country. And it's like, we really need, if the politicians aren't going to do it, and of course, you know my position on politicians, if we're not going to see some intelligence coming out of our political bodies, then, if we ever plan to solve the problems that face our planet, we need to have intelligent conversation. We have this vehicle. And this is why I'm screaming all the time about get out of your hate zone and come to the table with the willingness to discuss, to come to the forum of human experience, which is, looks like this is one of them, Facebook and other social media, and to be able to consider how we're going to turn this around. Or my question is, are people starting to feel like we're not going to be able to do that? I pose this question. Lots of people think, well, whatever, we're going to ascend any minute now, so we don't have to worry about it and just bide our time until the good aliens come and fix everything, or we just ascend off the planet. And, my feeling about that is, can't we be responsible every moment for this beautiful planet? And can't we rise to the occasion, starting with, but not limited to, people that call themselves spiritual people and are part of the spiritual, quote unquote, community, but reaching out all the time. And people say to me all the time that I'm very courageous and they're grateful that I'm speaking for them. And I'm like, well, yeah, I am courageous. Thank you for that. I'll always be, because frankly, Miss Scarlett, I don't give a damn. And so therefore, you see my new picture on Facebook says uncensored and politically incorrect, and I will go to my death with that. But I encourage you too. Don't wait for me or anyone else to be courageous for you. Come on, man. The only way we're going to knock out this ridiculous censorship of political correctness, for starters, is to stop doing it. And yeah, you're going to lose a lot of people on the way. You're going to lose people who refuse, who can't tolerate the fact that you refuse to censor yourself, and let them go. But I'm not going to lecture about that. I've said enough about that. Right now, my only point for being here is to remind you that we have so much knowledge and experience. Let's bring the experience into the dialogue. I can talk a lot about immigration. I've lived through it in Italy. I've seen the absolute decay of the city so fast. Granted, there were already extreme structural problems in Roman culture and civilization. And so I'm not saying that the only problem is that suddenly there were 4 million immigrants, mostly angry immigrants. And they have a right to be angry, because if you really want to talk about why we've got this problem, it's because the governments of the West keep going into their countries and raising them. And I don't mean R-A-I-S-I-N-G. I mean raising, destroying, leveling them so they can suck out everything that is their culture, everything that is their wealth, their minerals, their oil, etc. So if you want to be angry about something, you want to have an opinion, let's start talking about that. Are we ever going to be able to protest like we did back in the 69, 70? You know, people don't realize it, but the student protesters, of which I was one, we helped end the war in Vietnam. There's no question about it. And I guess what I'm saying here is bring to the table more insight. Let's talk about the issues that are facing us without rage. And by God, we need dialogue here. Where is the intelligent society, the unemotional, intelligent society that can, and I'm not suggesting for a minute that I'm not emotional. Oh my God, of course we all are. But I try my best to bring to the table information, experience, insights that I truly believe might just help this planet. And I'm inviting you to do that too. My Facebook page is becoming more and more, let's say, refined in this, from the point of view that I'm just kicking anybody out. No, no mercy when it comes to anything resembling name calling, attacking, whatever. I had a couple yesterday who were attacking other people who are trying to make a point. They're gone. I've lost my patience completely, and that's the way it should be, because I just, you know, I don't want my small contribution to the Facebook situation to be a place where people are allowed to do that. So please come to my Facebook page to debate and share. And yeah, of course, who doesn't keep posting these wonderful pictures of adorable animals and the goodness that is nature, and even the recipe now and then. And of course, there's the famous pizza that I made with cheese that managed to get people riled up. But please come, speak to me, speak to the people who resonate with me on this page, and let's talk about issues without all this anger. And I have one thought to leave you with, because I promised to be short, brief. And here it is. Trump, the absolute center of everybody's emotion at the moment. You hate him, you love him, you think he's a hero, you think he's a patriot, you think he's an animal, you think he's a moron, yada, yada. It still amazes me that people are so caught up in the drama of who he, of the president, of the man, that they forget that no matter how good a candidate is, no matter how bad he is, they toe the line. The one thing that Trump seems to do is to be so unprepared politically with the rhetoric that people want to hear, that he comes out with absurd statements. Some people find them extremely offensive. I find extremely offensive also rhetoric like, I'm here for the people, the Hillary Clinton rhetoric. It's enough to stick a finger down my throat of political correctness and saying what people want to hear and saying nothing. So, you know, my comment about Trump is, because people keep asking me, do I hate him, or am I for him or against him? You know, he does things that are terrible and I hate them. Or I just got finished saying, let's not bring hate to the table. So I don't like his position on so many things, and I love his position on other things. And I'm pleased that I have the balance to be able to acknowledge when a good thing happens and to be concerned about and react when a bad thing happens. And, you know, I am about to write a big letter to the White House about their ecological position. And my approach is going to be, dear Mr. Trump, you have a lot of people out here who are really trying to support you in the morass of people who hate you beyond every fathomable imagination. Why can't you do more for the environment? It's almost like you're deliberately enraging people who care about the environment with these ridiculous things you do, like sanctioning hunting, which is the barbarism of hunting is just drives me off my rocker. So I'm going to write a letter to the White House. And, you know, a lot of people feel like, yeah, sure, what's the point? But we can't allow ourselves to feel that energy. What's the point? What's the point? I care about it, and I want to do something about it. And maybe it won't even get read, but I will feel like, okay, well, I voiced this feeling. I invited people to share with me, to sign this letter with me. Rather than just, you know, bashing, hating, and whatever, let's try to do something about that. And I invite everyone to do something about what you care about, instead of just screaming about it and hating about it. Do something about it. Do something about it that involves using your intellect and your compassion and that higher state of being that we pretend to as spiritual people, because I know I'm speaking to an audience, if you will, of spiritual people, and me included. I think of myself as a spiritual person. And so I'm calling upon myself, as I'm calling upon you, to find a vehicle to express how I feel about things, and proactive things that, who knows, might just make a difference. But one thing's for sure, screaming and hating and bashing and name calling, along with victimization and mourning your pain and suffering, and involving, expanding this community of people who are suffering and have been wounded. And for God's sakes, let's raise the stakes here. Raise the stakes. Get out of your lower three chakras. Don't let anybody put you down there. And let's get back into heart and communication, the throat, the higher abilities that we have. And bring your experience, which is how I started this. Bring your experience to the table. Share with us your experience of a situation rather than ranting about something you know nothing about. Sorry, I don't mean to be. Somebody told me the other day I was on a bandstand. I guess I am. I'm on a bandstand for the human race. Will you step up with me? Let's all get on the bandstand and do something. So that's my little message for you today. And I hope you take it to heart and do something you care about today. You know, one of the new things I'm going to do, of course, I don't have the bucks right now, so I'm either going to have to start a campaign, which I could do. I hate asking for money, but I want to get some, sorry, I keep doing this thing with my hair. It just gets to here. I want to build, I mean, I need quite a lot more money, some plastic recycling plants in some impoverished countries. Build and find ways to run them. This is one of the projects I'm going to take on, hopefully soon. And I believe that plastic is probably the greatest blight on the planet that exists. And along with climate change, you think all this plastic isn't affecting the climate? we all have seen, we know so much about the oceans and the earth being lined with the animals in the ocean. The fact that your sea salt is full of plastic. But, you know, the other day I bought this robe, and it's polyester, and I had to throw it away. So plastic, I couldn't breathe in it. I was like, ah! So I'm going to be working on that and other projects. And I just want to see the community working on projects that, you know, if you don't feel like working on anything because you're too battered down with life, then give some money to people who are. Look at these people, 4oceans.org. No, they're not a nonprofit organization. These kids are out there picking up how many millions of pounds of plastic and turning the plastic into little beads. And the bracelet costs $20. And if you can afford that, buy a bracelet. Help these kids. They're doing the work. They're in the foreground, trying to make a difference. So give up a couple of your Starbucks coffees and buy a bracelet if you care about black. Hi, boss. Nice to see you too. Start a GoFundMe page for your plastic projects. Yes, I'm going to do that, Ella. I have so many things I want to do. So many things to make a change in this planet. And then, you know, the thing is that when you start doing these things, it's so empowering. And so is sending $20 for this little bracelet to these people, because even though you're not hands-on working for change, you're still empowering those that are out there on the water pulling this garbage out of the ocean. You're empowering them through the act of sending them money. So it's this organization is called 4Oceans, and of course there's Sea Shepherds, and there are so many ways you can help the planet. And just be careful of the big organizations that are giving their directors $200,000 a year salaries, and like $8 out of every 100 actually goes to the people. Do your homework. You know who they are. And if you don't, look at Red Cross and some of the other big organizations and check out what's behind them. But anyway, these young guys are doing this. There's this other guy, Bayan, who has started trying to clean up the garbage patches in the ocean. And I have this really good idea of finding a way to support impoverished countries to actually set up plastic recycling plants. It's a huge thing, and I guess I'd like to think big. So watch for me to bring more information about that. Yeah, Ella, maybe I will start a GoFundMe project, but before I can do that and ask anybody to contribute, I have to have things in place so that I know how to make that happen. So that's me. I said it was going to be short, you know. I really started out with the intention of just giving you the parable of Buddha, and then the dogs, and then off I was running. I hope I have been able to hold your attention. And again, I really want to thank you all. This is a beautiful community, and even though I'm always screaming about stuff, you put up with me because I know you love me. As Sally Field would say, now I know you really love me. All right, guys, it's a beautiful Saturday morning here. I'd like to see a little bit more winter, but still a beautiful day. As you can see behind me, the sun is just so bright, and I'm going to get unlazy and go for a nice long walk and go up to that place that I showed you in a picture where that little strange character was looking out from the bushes. Looks like little gray. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back on my page, go back to this picture where you've got these rainbow colors all over the page, and then in the corner there's this little face that looks to me like a little alien. And I like to go there because it's very magical. So Ella, it's so nice to see you. It's not so nice to see you active. Dear Ella, love you so much. All right, so before I go, I'm going to say hello to everybody. Hi, Najat, Fig, always. Philip, thank you for tuning in. Boss again, thank you. Sarah, Harper, Sandra, hiya. Hi, everybody. Let's make something beautiful happen. Let's just think of something beautiful to do this day. Just do it. Give up your coffee. People tell me I don't have money to donate. You know what? I am really strapped myself these days. Holy doodle. I'm strapped. But, you know, you can certainly give up. You can do something. 20 bucks isn't going to change your life, but you can look at yourself in the mirror and go, okay, it's a small contribution, but I'm contributing. This is what and I'm going to come full circle to my opening about bringing experience to the table. So when you're screaming about the problems with the plastic and the ecology and the planet's in meltdown and the climate change, all these things, you can say to yourself, yet I'm doing something about it in a small way. Rather than just bringing my bark to the question, I'm contributing to change. And I invite you to do that. And I do that with love and excitement and hope, because I truly will never let go of the belief that we can turn things around on this planet. It's looking pretty bleak at the moment, but never give up on planet Earth and never give up on humankind. Love you guys. Thanks for listening. Take care.